You get the promo?
Say hi, Joey Only.
Hi, Joey Only. What's up? Let's
What
go.
up, my dog? What up, my dog?
What up, dog?
I'm Frank Adele. You're listening to Comedy Meteorological Weather Report every Thursday night at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 11 p.m. Atlantic Standard Time. Joey Only's a really nice guy. He lives in Wells, British Columbia. He fights fires in the summer months. He was working for Vancouver Giants Western Hockey League team. Joey Only is terrible weather to comedian plus meteorology. It's on his YouTube channel. And I'm on a Joey Only show. It's on CFUR 88.7 FM in Prince George, and CKUW 95.9 FM Winnipeg, and CFBX 92.5 FM in Kamloops, British Columbia. It's on Shaw Spotlight TV and Shaw TV all across the entire country in Canada. Joey Only's a really nice guy. He fights fires in Wells, British Columbia. He's a firefighter. He runs a podcast called Comedian Plus Meteorology. Terrible weather to Comedian Plus Meteorology. Joey Only's a really nice guy.
We're out here.
Best luck to you. I'm Frankie Dalton. You're listening to Joey Only show every Thursday night at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 11 p.m. Atlantic Standard Time. Say hi,
Frankie.
Joey Only.
What's up, Joey?
Yes.
With my dog,
you got some of
Frankie.
Ashby's finest just hanging out here with Frankie, boy. You know what it is. B-Mac in the cut.
Well, whether it's hot, whether it's cold, whether it's hot, Frankie's got the weather we got. Wait a minute. Well, whether it's cold, whether it's hot, Frankie's got the weather, whether or not. There it is.
What are you turning off? Right?
You. Good morning, Prince George, and good afternoon, Winnipeg, and good evening, Kamloops, and hello, Victoria and Cowichan Bay. We are growing. We're a growing family here on the Comedeorological Report. I'm Joey Only. I'm your host. I live up in this lodge in Wells, British Columbia, up in a mountain, and we make this show, and people watch it and listen to it. And, well, not many people, but it's getting better. That's what it is. And it's a show about how much the weather sucks in Canada, and it does generally tend to suck a lot. However, this last couple of days, we've been seeing the weather looking like it's going to improve in BC. In fact, it's going to get improved so much that, well, we can have high stream flows and avalanches and things like that. So, yes, I'm growing my playoff beard because I really have hope. And tonight I was once again reminded that hope is futile. But nonetheless, I have the good company of my friends here, the Comedeorologists. Comedy plus meteorology equals Comedeorology. It's the weather show that we kind of made. Absent from the show this week is Brandon Houck. He's been making late night hockey broadcasts because his Brooks Bandits have been pushing into overtime, then getting up first thing in the morning and running morning radio shows. So we are without Brandon this week, but we have the regulars. We got Frankie McDonald, who's going to be on here in about 1 minute time. We got Imogen Cookie Bailey down there in Victoria, British Columbia, and we got Hilding Donaldson, and I think we got some more people showing up as we get into the hour. So we never know who's going to be giving their report from across Canada. But first things first, let's get to the man himself. He's the world famous Frankie McDonald down there in Sydney, Nova Scotia. He's the man with 280-something thousand YouTube subscribers, the weatherman that everyone loves the most. Frankie McDonald. How you doing so far?
I'm doing good so far. Lots of snow showers going on in Wyoming. Then it got some really cold temperatures this weekend coming. And in North Dakota, South Dakota, parts of Nebraska, they're bringing snow mountains of Colorado. In parts of New Mexico right now, they're still bringing snow in western Colorado right now in the mountains part. It's going to bring really hot temperatures in Southern California, bringing all the hot weather all the way up to Vancouver, British Columbia, and Seattle, and Portland, and all these places. It's going to bring lots of thunderstorms and a lot of rain all across the eastern United States this weekend. Like New York City was getting a lot of rain this Saturday coming. It's going to bring a whole lot of heavy rain. New York City, Washington, D.C., Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Florida, and all these places. Lots of thunderstorms going on in the eastern United States. Then it got a big storm going to develop in the east coast of the United States. It's going to bring a whole lot of rain next week all across Florida, Georgia, Alabama, South Carolina, North Carolina, Virginia, Maryland, Washington, D.C., Delaware, Maryland, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, lots of snow in Wisconsin and northwestern Ontario. In New York, it's bringing lots of rain all across Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Vermont, New Hampshire, Massachusetts, and all these places. It's going to be a big storm all across Boston next week as well. And all across New York City's getting a storm all across Georgia, Florida. Then the guy drives some cooler air all the way down Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana. There's a center of low pressure system that's going to be located in the Great Lakes region. And this Sunday and the Monday, it's going to bring high winds in Boston, Vermont, New Hampshire, even Montreal, Quebec. Our base guy lives in Kingston, Ontario, and all these places. It's going to bring a whole lot of rain all across Ontario as well, including Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, and all these places. Lots of snow in northwestern Ontario, even into May. Then the storm's going to stall in Great Lakes region like Ontario, like Sault Ste. Marie, Sudbury, Timmins, with rain snow mix all across Michigan and those places in the stateside. As for South America, lots of thunderstorms and rain going on in Venezuela, northern Brazil, including places like in Peru, Ecuador, Bolivia, and those places in Venezuela and Colombia. They're bringing lots of thunderstorms and rain right now. Really dry weather in Argentina this weekend and next week. It's going to bring a whole lot of stormy wind and rain and snow in southern Chile. Northern Chile is going to be dry to normal temperatures. As of right now, in places like in northern Chile, down South America, it's going to bring drier than average temperatures. And in Europe, like England, they're bringing lots of showers up around England, like London, England, Manchester, England, Shrewsbury, England, including Oxford, England, Grimsby, England, Edinburgh, Scotland, Aberdeen, Scotland, and those places, including places like in Dublin, Ireland, and those places going to bring lots of rain and thunder, lots of showers there. Up France, it's going to bring lots of nice weather in France, like Paris, France, and rain showers and things like this. And up lots of snow showers up around Norway and snow in Norway, Finland, Sweden as well. In northwestern Russia, like in Belarus and Poland, those places going to bring colder than average temperatures in Moscow, Russia, and rain and snow and things like this. And Dave in Osaka is still in Japan right now. Dave in Osaka lives in Japan. Lots of warm weather and cold weather fighting each other. Lots of storms coming off the coast of Japan right now, like Tokyo, Japan, Kyoto, Japan, Osaka, Japan, and those places. Then it got some cold weather heading next week in Sapporo, Haganayo, Japan, including South Korea, North Korea, 5 Yasak, Russia is getting colder than average temperatures this Sunday coming, including lots of thunderstorms and rain, and the dry weather is going to advance in China as well. India is getting really bad heat wave right now, and temperature in India is going to bring really, really hot temperatures and thunderstorms in India because monsoon season starting soon in India. Lots of thunderstorms in Philippines and Indonesia and those places, Thailand, Cambodia, and those places will be starting their rainy season, including Vietnam, Laos, and those countries. They'll be starting their rainy season soon. And the other side of the world, like Laos, Vietnam, and places like this, and other side of the world. In southern Africa, lots of cold weather in Cape Town, South Africa. In northern South Africa, it's going to bring hotter than average temperatures. Mozambique, Madagascar is getting drier than average temperatures, same as Namibia and things like this. Zimbabwe is going to get in dry season. Zambia is going to get in dry season soon. Lots of thunderstorms in Uganda, Congo, Gabon, and Kenya, and parts of Zimbabwe and things like this as of right now. And as for Southwest Pacific, like Australia and New Zealand, there's a low pressure system. It's headed towards New Zealand next week. Parts of New Zealand's going, South Island, New Zealand's going to get some rain and things like this. It's fall year there right now. It's still really hot in Australia. In northern Australia, it's getting colder in southern Australia because their winter starts on June 21st, 2023. In the second half of May, North Pole will become 24-hour daylight. And up above the Arctic Circle is going to bring 24-hour daylight. Down below Antarctic Circle will be 24-hour darkness, like Amundsen Scott Supple Station and McMurdo Station, Antarctica.
Sounds like alien ships are coming, and spaceships and flying saucers are coming. Oh my god, spaceships are creating tornadoes. The spaceships just bypassed the asteroid 1997 XF11.
What's the weather doing up in outer space right now, Frankie?
Right now, and lots of asteroids are up in the sky right now. Solar flares shooting from the sun as of right now.
Yeah, we had quite the Northern Lights show the other night. I see Hank Vliestra just joined us, so we'll be going to be. I want to sort of break protocol, but you probably have a sunset going on there or something. So I just wanted to. And Brandon Hoke got to see all these thunderstorms this week.
We've got a thunderstorm, the first one of the year in the county of Newell. We can hear the thunder kind of off in the distance here. And yes, so you can see it right there, actually. It is pushing into the Rolling Hills Reservoir. We've had lightning strikes just getting on the south side of Lake Newell near Rainier, anywhere between Rainier and Lake Newell. That's where we've got the lightning strikes in this thing, and it is moving slowly off to the east into the Rolling Hills Reservoir. There you go, first thunderstorm of the season. Bingo! Carrying on, little thunder shower near Rainier. Moving along the Bow River, heading off to the west. Or more actually, it's saying going to the east. Yeah, not the west, the east. That's where it's going. So we'll watch it very closely. Just a couple little flashes here and there, flashing everybody in the Rainier area. So it's just something to watch very, very closely. We've also had a few showers trying to develop overhead of me. This guy just gave me a little spat of rain. Said, hey, forget about that dude over there. Look at me. But you don't look impressive. But this guy behind you is also getting its act together. And we'll be watching this guy in the next hour. If it does decide to get its act together, definitely some TCU. And I believe there will be some raindrops coming out of this cloud any minute. Actually, there is raindrops coming out of that cloud now, because this guy just gave me another raindrop and said, hey, look at me. I'm important, and I want to rain on you. Anyways, forget about those clouds over there. We've got a thunder shower, the first one of the season, to our south, moving east. Let's go. I said, let's go. Just had a lightning bolt. Right there. Lightning struck. That was awesome. My goodness. Wow. I don't know if I can calm down right now. No, I cannot calm down. There's your thunderstorm right there. This is where you're going to find lightning and the thunder right in there. Got a little tail shaft right over there. Look at that. This is awesome! You just heard thunder, guys. Just heard thunder. This is awesome! Yes! We did it!
You had some thunder and lightning in your area, and you saw the northern lights in your area.
Yeah, we had a first thunderstorm here in Wilkie, Saskatchewan of the year. So it was awesome. It was, subdued. There was like a couple of lightning strikes and a couple of low rumbles of thunder, and moderate downpour. But, I'll take it. It was a lot of fun to see that come back again for the first time this year. And we also saw a great show of Aurora Borealis on Sunday night here. I was right out here. Look, we still have a pile of snow there. That's not quite melted yet, but it should be done for this weekend. It's going to be like summer.
I'm looking forward to it because, as you can see, we still have snowbanks. They've dropped almost to the height of my truck now, though. So that's a remarkable drop in the last week. And I think with the very, very warm weather we're going to get, but that's life in Wells, British Columbia. You got to be special to like it here. What's going on with this warm weather coming to the west?
It's going to bring really, really warm temperatures in California, Oregon, Washington, Vancouver, British Columbia, and Los Angeles. That's where Trevor Garner lives from the Trevor's Happy Hour in Anaheim, California. Trevor Garner from the Trevor's Happy Hour is getting really, really, really hot weather through Saturday and things like this. And Gary and Dino show in Arizona is getting really, really, really hot weather. So it's Las Vegas, Reno, Carson City, and Utah, and those places. It's going to bring really hot temperatures in Vancouver and Victoria, including Idaho, where Roger the Wild Child used to live. And Oregon, where Brian Smith lives, is going to get really hot weather. It says Medford, Oregon, Slane, Oregon, Uji, Oregon, Portland, Oregon, Vancouver, Washington, Spokane, Washington, Olympia, Washington, Tacoma, Washington, Seattle, Washington, and Bellingham, Washington, and the surrounding areas, including all those other areas in the state of Washington, including Boise, Idaho. Those places going to be really hot temperatures. In San Diego, where Mark Grant is, they're getting really hot weather in San Diego, California. And San Francisco, California is going to get really hot temperatures. Same with Sacramento, California, that where Don Germano's show used to live.
How is our friend Mark Grant's San Diego Padres doing?
He's doing good so far.
Yeah, Mark, who's been on the show before, he's the color commentator for the San Diego Padres. So is this the beginning of the El Nino, the first foray?
It's a transition to El Nino from La Nina.
From what I hear, El Nino is probably back and probably kind of strong. You know, I believe so.
I just found it out. The cardboard cutout in Frankie Downs in Seattle, Washington. Right now, Thacker from the Gary Dino Show has it.
Oh, excellent. Do you have any pictures of the cardboard cutout in San Diego, in Seattle?
Thacker has it.
Nice. I wish that thing would come to Wells, BC someday. The life-size Frankie McDonald cardboard cutout. Image Cookie Bailey. So the good news for the show this week is we're on a new radio station. We're on CFBX 92.5 FM every Monday at 9 p.m. So if anyone is listening to the show, we record the show Thursday nights, and it's your weekly show about basically all the top weather stories. So tonight is Thursday, the 27th of April, and you'll be hearing this on the 1st, on May Day. So you can't use us as a forecast per se, but more as an overall picture as to what's been happening and what will happen and so forth and so on. So we have new radio time slot and we have new television time slots.
Indeed, we do. In the Greater Victoria area, we are on Shaw Spotlight on Mondays at 7 a.m., Tuesdays at 9 a.m., Wednesdays at 10 p.m., and Friday nights at 11 p.m. as well in the Duncan Couch and Valley area. We are airing on Mondays at 7 p.m., Wednesdays at 11 a.m., and Friday nights at 6 p.m. We've got 2 different areas and 7 time slots. So this is pretty awesome, actually. I'm really excited about it.
That's a lot of time slots. So really good work, Imogen. Thank you very much for getting on the horse and making that all happen.
And I just found it out in the weekend. It's going to bring chillier to normal temperatures in Maine before a lot of rain headed for Maine and places like this. It's going to bring a lot of heavy rain in Florida, Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana. It's going to bring high winds all across New Jersey and those places. And Gibraltar outside of Spain is going to bring showers and warm temperatures in Gibraltar outside of Spain as well. Lots of wind direction coming from the east. It's going to hit North Carolina, Virginia, Washington, D.C., Delaware, Ocean City, Maryland, including New Jersey, New York, Long Beach, New York, and things like this. It's going to bring a lot of rain all across the eastern United States this weekend, including New York City and those places.
Yeah, sort of the structure of this storm that's coming through is kind of what you would call an inland hurricane, where instead of at the center is warm, it's a cold core, and it's cyclonic. So it's essentially, Ryan Hall was making this point on his YouTube channel.
It's going to bring colder and drier than normal in Tennessee, Arkansas, Missouri, and all these places with windy conditions all the way down parts of Texas.
Right. We got someone named Richard showing up. I wonder if that's our friend Richard Bone over in Alberta. Oh, no, it's Richard Daniel Tronson. So remember, I was just talking about how we're on CFBX 92.5 FM. I said we were going to be late starting the show, Richard, and then we weren't. So welcome to the Comedeorological Report. So Richard runs a radio show that airs right before our time slot on CFBX. So talk to us about your show, Richard, and welcome to the show. How's the weather in Kamloops?
Well, it's cold in the morning and hot in the afternoon. So it's hard to dress for.
It's going to get a lot hotter too still this weekend.
I feel it. Keep telling me it's getting hotter this weekend, but yeah.
Tell us about your show.
Well, it's called This Microphone Smells, and I like to shine a spotlight on local and touring bands. So if you were to do a show in Kamloops, I'd be talking about it.
I heard that's going to bring a lot of severe thunderstorms to Dallas, Texas, Friday night. It's going to bring a lot of thunderstorms. And then for the thunderstorms, it's going to bring flood and downpours, large hail, isolated tornadoes, damaging wind gusts 55 to 65 miles per hour. The storm max is 80 miles per hour. That's around tropical storm force winds with gusts.
I saw some pictures of hail that was the size of grapefruits that came down in Texas this week, Frankie.
It was really, really bad, smashing windshields and things like this. Even Western Florida had hail from thunderstorms.
All right, well, what can happen if a hailstone like that starts falling?
That can smash windshields. Stay away from the window, stay in the interior of the house, and things like this. You might have to head down the basement because sometimes hailstone could go through the roof of the house.
Yeah, one that big, absolutely, right? So that's like grapefruit, and you see them like just these amalgam. They look gnarly, right? So thank goodness we don't have that right now. We just have really
kind of giant,
really dirty snowbanks here, Hank. That's all we got.
Those giant hailstones, it's a lot rarer than what people think, because you see the pictures on social media of the craziest hailstones anybody's ever seen, and everybody shares them all over the place. But, like, for instance, I chase storms all over the place every summer, and the largest I've ever seen is ping pong ball size. And that's me going after every storm I can find. That's the largest hailstones I've come across so far. But some of my friends have got bigger baseball and even bigger than baseball type of things, but they're really rare.
I was in Calgary with my band playing during the week of the Stampede in 2010, when the hailstorm hit, and there was some absolutely massive hail. It was incredible. It was like, yeah, it was really big. What's the biggest hailstone you've ever seen, Imogen?
Biggest hailstone, probably only a couple inches. Haven't seen anything too tremendous, but we have gotten, uncharacteristically, we do get the occasional pretty decent storm here. So probably only about a couple inches, maybe golf ball size once.
Biggest hailstone you ever seen, Richard?
Pebble size, nothing big.
Frankie, biggest hailstone you ever seen?
The biggest hailstone somewhere in the coldest USA. They're going to get really big hailstones in New York, too.
And Hilden, because we haven't talked to you at all, we are now going to segue. Hilden, the biggest hailstone you've ever seen, and how you doing this week? How are the cattle?
Oh, things are doing okay here. I have to say that hailstorms are so scattered that if you have hail that is the size of your fist, the neighbor might have hail the size of his little finger. The biggest I've seen has been an inch. I rescued old cars out of people's yards for years, and I've hardly ever found a car that had dents from hailstones, and yet hailstones bigger than an inch will dent a car. So it must be awfully rare.
Yeah, well, definitely I've seen it in Alberta on more than one occasion. Massive dentings of vehicles. So yes, you're in Grassy Plains, British Columbia there, south of Burns Lake. Spring's finally coming for you?
Yeah, we're finally, I have hardly any snow I can see out my window, but our lake still has ice on. I mean, it's slush, it's not really ice. And the calves are really enjoying it. I took some footage today. I didn't get a chance to send it to you yet. I'll try to get it to you this week. Some pictures of the cows. They looked really content. I went out today and leveled off the crap from where we fed them over winter so that the little bits of snow that are underneath it'll melt. And we're hoping to get some green stuff coming through in the next couple of days. So, yeah.
Wow, yeah, we're a little ways away from the green stuff here in Wells. That's unfortunately the truth. But you know how it is. Ahead of you. You know how it is. But still, we might see 20-degree day or something on Saturday, and we deserve this. We deserve this. So, okay, the next thing I want to go back towards is something we talked about in the pre-show. Special public avalanche warning. So this is because of how warm it's getting in British Columbia this weekend. There's going to be a dramatic increase in temperatures, which will destabilize the snowpack across Western Canada. So if you know people who are going to go out snowmobiling and skiing and hiking and things, make sure that they've checked with Avalanche Canada and seen that you should not do that. Destructive and dangerous avalanches are the threat, right? So, and these are some of the springtime ones that you've seen in videos before where they just run and and run, and everything comes off the mountain and everything goes all the way down the valley floor, right? The sudden transition from cool wintry conditions in the alpine to warm temperatures will create really bad avalanche conditions. It'll get hot, and this existing snowpack structure, because of the way it is, it means these avalanches will likely be very large. They'll go right to the valley bottom, just like Joey just said. Dangerous avalanche conditions are for all mountainous regions in Western Canada. The hazard increases with each day that it's warm. If there's been persistent and deep slab avalanche problems in your area with problematic, it'll be especially problematic avalanches potentially involving the full depth of the snowpack. Everything coming off at once in that run, right? So warming can initiate large and destructive cornice falls. Cornices can be destructive by themselves, but also act as a trigger for destructive, deep, persistent avalanches. So everybody in the backcountry, all hikers and scramblers and everybody, all tourists and everybody recreating in avalanche terrain, and just be smart. Don't go out there at all. And this is for everywhere, right? This is not for, and we've already, we still had an avalanche death, not April 15th. So we're not out of the season, right? And don't be the last one, right? Don't be the last one. But we finally have our high stream flow advisories.
I'll be careful, Joey. I'll be careful about the avalanches.
What's that,
I'll
Hank?
be careful.
Yeah, you be careful, because even in Saskatchewan, and that little pile you had there, that little pile near your feet? Look out!
Okay.
When that thing gets moving, man, it's real bad. So flood warnings and advisories in British Columbia. The BC River Forecast Center, it's issuing high stream flow advisories for Upper Fraser around Prince George, Chilliwack, Chichinka, Salmon, surrounding rivers. Middle Fraser watershed, that includes Quesnel Williams Lake as well, Nasco River, West Road, Baker Creek, Cottonwood, San Jose, and all the tributaries, South Interior, including Lower Thompson, Salmon River, and Okanagan, including Cache Creek and surrounding areas. So this strong upper ridge that's beginning here today on Thursday and will go in the weekend. Temperatures will rise well above plus 10 degrees above normal, right? 23 degrees and even in northern areas, 27 in the Okanagan. So, I mean, who will hit 30 first? Somebody. A low pressure system may return some precipitation to the region next week. So, in most of the higher elevation terrain across the province, the snowpack's not ripened, but it may with the sharp rises in snowfall rates this weekend. And here's all the river names I just read already again. So if you didn't read them the first time, there they are again. So stay clear of fast flowing rivers and potentially unstable riverbanks. You go and stand and look at the pretty river. It's really moving fast. You stand on the riverbank and the river has been cutting underneath the bank. And then finally your weight on it is enough and you just slip off into the water and no one ever sees from you again. So don't do that.
And we have to remember that rivers rise over a period of time. So we might have a hot day and it might be 3 days later that the river all of a sudden rises by 10 feet in 2 hours. That's the kind of phenomenon that catches people this time of year.
Well, it'll rise really fast if you get a heavy rain somewhere too, which luckily we won't have. But yes, things can rise pretty quickly. So remember, high stream flows can trap strong swimmers. That increases the risk of drowning. Did you know that on average 75 people drown in British Columbia every summer? Everyone's scared of bears. Like one person gets killed by a bear every 3 years, but no one's out there being like, oh my goodness, drowning, come on, people. Avalanches kill 10 or 15 people a year. These are, the threats that will probably kill you more often than not, but everyone's worried about the animals because animals have a brain. That's the only reason they're scared of them, I guess. So avoid fishing and swimming and boating. Avoid, putting your children in little baskets and pushing them off.
They're more likely to die driving to the woods than they are to get killed by a bear while in the woods. You know what I mean?
To be fair, we do not have any statistical data regarding carjackings at the hands of bears. So that may be a threat that is just underreported. Something to be aware of.
Doubtful. River levels are expected to rise. That's a high stream flow advisory. What does that mean? It means no major flooding is expected, but the fast flowing bodies of water, the water will be moving really fast, and a creek that you may normally go into will be your death.
The danger we have at this time of year in Saskatchewan is grass fires. As you can see, we have all this dry grass right now, and it can catch fire, and especially on a windy day. And the reason why it catches fire on a windy day is power lines will come down in the wind, and they'll start the grass on fire, and then the wind will cause the fire to spread. And so that's what we have to watch out for. It's not raging rivers really in this part of Saskatchewan. It's grass fires and people starting bonfires on days that they shouldn't, and then it ends up spreading. Sometimes farmers like to clear their land, and they decide to burn the refuse, the trees that they've cleared, put it all in a pile, and they sometimes take a poor day to burn it. So that can sometimes cause a grass fire or a bush fire too. That's what we got going on sometimes this time of year here. Not only the threat, as soon as it greens up in 3 weeks, that threat is dissipated greatly.
You know this place, don't you?
Yep.
Someone got a guess.
Kamloops.
That's Riverside Park in Kamloops. Now, what do you notice about the water levels?
Quite low right now.
They're very low, aren't they? I made a video this week on my channel talking about how low the water is. You ever go hang out at Riverside Park?
Not in a while. But I know you can walk out to Rabbit Island. It's this little island off of North Shore. And the water was low enough that you could walk out there. But in the last week or so, it's actually gotten higher.
It will start coming up. But it doesn't look like flooding is really your risk. But there is a nice sunset in Kamloops. Thank you, Tourism Kamloops. Isn't that lovely? So remember this webcam, because this is an area, when there's thunderstorms in Kamloops, this is often the place to look. So, when they're north of you, right? So this is a good webcam to keep on hand if you like watching storms around the province sometimes. And it's a live stream because look, you can see people the other day, there's a woman there, and the other day was a tractor. It was going around circles doing tractor things, and that was nice. Riverside Park.
Yep.
So, Comedeorological Report, halfway through, listening to us on CFR, CFBX, CKUW, Shaw Spotlight, and on Joey Only Caribou Weather Dude YouTube channel. I think we've gone through kind of there's the cat. I think we've gone through the beginning half of the show. Who's got something they want to bring up this week?
Go Jets, go! Go Jets, go!
This is Joe Stover with the Comedeorological Report, reporting live from Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada. Down here doing a remote report here from the Canada Life Center, downtown Winnipeg. It's a whiteout. It's a whiteout, as you can see. That's what the conditions are. Let's go Jets! Let's go Jets! Oh, well, here they are.
Let's go,
That's our boy. Listen, the forecast calls for many goals by the Winnipeg Hockey Jets. Oh, you can hear that. That's the Las Vegas hockey playing Golden Golden Knights. Listen, I'm no meteorologist, but I am a Comedeorologist, and my patent Joe cast calls for many goals by the Winnipeg Hockey Jets. That's all I got to say from here, reporting live from the Canada Life Center in Winnipeg, Manitoba for the Comedeorological Report. I'm Joe Stover. Go Jets, go.
What river was that, Joey? Riverside Park. What river was that?
That's the Thompson River. That's where the two Thompson rivers.
Yeah, the north is South Thompson River, yeah.
So that's a nice park you can go and park in. And there's always lots of dogs there. And
Well, you're talking about drowning risks. That area right there where the two rivers meet is a high risk swimming area.
right. It must be like quite a current because of the two of them together.
Yeah.
So a former manager of Department of Defense says UFOs are real.
Oh my god, the aliens are here! Be prepared!
So something extraordinary was revealed today. High-level officials and scientists with deep black experience. Now, the 25-year veteran of the CIA's Directorate of Operations and Lockheed Martin Program Director for Advanced System at Skunk Works, a former Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense for Intelligence are part of this. This could represent the beginning of a trend towards new openness on the part of the U.S. government.
Oh, we've had that for ages. There's always been whistleblowers and there's always been high-level people speaking out. And then it's, there's the back and forth of, X-Files type stuff of, oh no, they're not allowed to say that. And that's classified data and it's debunked and discredited and proven. And we know aliens are real. Besides, NASA just said that NASA's Department for Near-Earth Studies has said that an asteroid approximately the size of the Eiffel Tower buzzed by Earth on April 26th. So just very recently. And I like to think it's infested with aliens, crawling with all sorts of face huggers and body snatchers, pod people. Oh man, the possibilities. I mean, it's only the size of the Eiffel Tower, so it's not tremendous, but alien infested.
No one in the universe is interested in us, but maybe humans from the future are.
Okay,
Greece is going to let people bring pets into 120 archaeological sites. So if you're hanging around the Acropolis, from now on, watch out for dog doo-doo and things like that. Dwarf bullfighting has been banned in Spain. So,
are you fighting dwarf bulls or is it dwarves fighting bulls?
Apparently, it's Spain's parliament. They've banned comic bullfighting events featuring dwarves dressed in costumes in a decision applauded by disability rights groups, but condemned by the few surviving performers. Now they have no jobs.
Like, if they're banning bullfighting clear across the board on the basis of it being an animal cruelty issue, I understand that. But if they're banning it for a specific demographic of people who sign up and train and participate in it, accepting their own risk, then that just seems extremely discriminatory. No one's forcing anyone to sign up for it. Yeah, is there any statement on why it was banned? Any explanation given?
I don't want to read that far. I just want to keep going through headlines.
Oh, okay. Keep reading Google.
Like, come on, you guys. No one else has anything.
Well,
now, you want me to be an expert? I'm just like pulling stuff out of the air, trying to have a show here. You're like, don't you know everything, Joey? Like, no, I'm just trying to make conversation.
Or yesterday, we had actually the past 3 days, we've had the biggest flocks of geese that I've seen around flying around trying to find a lake with open water on, which is kind of unusual. Usually that by the time the geese come through, there's open water. So I don't know if it's a strange year for that or what it is, but I've never seen low-flying flocks of geese just making circles like this as much as they are this year.
So many bodies of water still frozen, and that's definitely going to be the case for quite a while here in Wells. We got a while before our water thaws out. Courts in Germany have ruled that just because your landlord is naked does not mean that you should. It doesn't justify demanding lower rent.
That is very specific, and I can only imagine the complaint that led to it.
It was a case involving a building in an upmarket residential district in Frankfurt. It had an office floor rented by a human resources company. The company withheld rent because it objected, among other things, to the landlord's naked sunbathing. In response, the landlord sued. Frankfurt court rejected the company's reasoning. The usability of the rented property was not impaired by the plaintiff sunning himself naked in the courtyard. I mean, this is messed up.
That is reaching.
Really?
Grasping at wieners for a lower rent.
Grasping at wieners. Yeah.
And judges ruled against appeal.
They should. It's a stupid complaint. There's no basis for demanding lower rent. Now, if your landlord is behaving in a pointedly obscene fashion, we'll say, that might be a little different. That'd be more of a harassment issue. But if it's simply that this is a guy who's sunbathing in an area where he's allowed to sunbathe, then you're just trying for something and it's not going to work. And it didn't.
So Jeremy Hansen, who made violent anti-LGBTQ related threats against a dictionary publisher, Merriam-Webster Incorporated, over its updated gender definitions, he was sentenced to 1 year in prison. That showed him. One of Pablo Escobar's cocaine hippos was killed in a highway collision in Colombia. So these animals have been wreaking havoc on the environment. A hippopotamus, it's descended from animals. These hippos, these are second, third generation hippos that the late drug king Pablo Escobar had. Hippo died in a collision with an SUV on a highway near Escobar's hacienda. There are now more than 100 of them. There's no natural predators in Colombia. Well, of course there isn't. I mean, hippos are terrifying. You got a feral hog problem in Saskatchewan. Look out, because they got feral hippos in Colombia. German border officials near Belgian border have under a ton of unrefrigerated fish. They found a container of cooked bats. And these are like bats, like and they look like bat jerky in the picture. I don't know if I can show you the picture, but if you can imagine bat jerky. So why would anybody be making bat jerky? So a man in York County, Pennsylvania was arrested Tuesday. He led officers on 2 separate vehicle chases that went through 2 counties. It began on Tuesday when state troopers saw his BMW had a Florida plate. They questioned the driver. Tony Saunders was his name, right? They could see that the items from Saunders was driving that appeared to be from a nearby convenience store where a theft had been reported. Although Saunders reported that he got the items at a junkyard. There was also a dog in the vehicle and a dead deer in the trunk. Saunders allegedly drove away when the troopers asked him to exit the vehicle and turned off his headlights to avoid detection. And later that morning, they noticed a school bus had been stolen in Abbottstown. So police officers eventually got the bus pulled over, and he abandoned the bus and ran away, but he was using the bus to carry his dead deer. So he stole a school bus, and so he was on a police chase with a dead deer in a school bus. So that's what I got this week. Who's got something better?
The Brandon Houck Report.
Oh, hi. This is the Brandon Houck Report. The Brandon Houck Report. And this week on the report, well, we go to Australia, where a man had something in his pants. Actually, it was in his underpants. What was it? The huntsman spider. One of the most venomous spiders ever on the planet in his pants. Not a good place. Luckily, spider didn't bite him. Moving on. An island in Scotland is for sale. How much? $190,000. Nearly half the median price of a home in the U.S. You can own a private island off the coast of Scotland. Pretty cool stuff. And finally, a man in Belgium won a seagull screeching contest. That's right. And all these folks, they get together in this restaurant and they all screech seagull to each other. And whoever has the best sounding screech wins the contest. And I've got to give it a try here. Here we go. Well, the weather story throughout the month of April has been a bit on the wonky side across much of the prairie provinces, and now we've got a bit of a change in the weather pattern, especially as we go on into next week. So this past week, we had our first thunderstorm of the season for many of us across parts of Alberta and into parts of Saskatchewan as well, and we had temperatures actually warm up to near 20 degrees for daytime highs, which was absolutely lovely. Wednesday night to Thursday, we had a sharp cold front go through. That brought another blast of snow, especially southwestern corner of the province, where they picked up at least 5 centimeters of snow on Wednesday morning, and also a few flashes of lightning occurred Wednesday night into Thursday across parts of Alberta as well. So that was kind of cooled us down just a tad for Thursday. But things are going to change in the next week as we have an upper ridge of high pressure taking over much of Western Canada. There are special avalanche warnings in the BC interior and right up to the coast there for the potential for dangerous, destructive avalanches. Not only that, but we also have, as I mentioned, plenty of sunshine. The heat's going to be on. Temperatures by this weekend in the BC interior could be pushing low to mid to upper 20s. And we could be dealing with those kind of temperatures in the prairies, especially in Alberta, in the next week, especially later on in the week, could be pushing near 30 degrees in a few locations. Also, the story for you in Manitoba, you're going to take a little bit of extra time warming up, so you'll be a little unsettled through the start of the weekend. And then you'll see that temperature rebound by the middle and towards the end of next week with temperatures near 20 degrees. And that could aid in the potential for flooding. So we'll be watching all of that and so much more on the Comedeorological Report.
Wild boars, I haven't seen them. You know, they make a big deal out of them. And I've driven around a lot. And I have not ever seen them. But the problem is, they keep reproducing and getting larger in number, and they're causing some real problems for eating crops and stuff in certain areas. I saw a map one time, and for some reason, they're mostly where the woods meet the prairie. And so my area is more all prairie, not very much woods. So that's probably part of the reason I haven't seen them. But I get up there where the woods meet the prairie, several times each summer. And I haven't seen them up there yet, but they maybe move around a lot more at night, I don't know. But they're out there. They're causing
Thousands
problems.
of little blue creatures named Valela washing up on the shore of Florida. They're these little blue, neat creatures. And I don't know I don't even know what they are. They're a couple inches long, and they vary in striking shades of cobalt and baby blue. So look this up. They have a similar build to jellyfish, but have a small sail protruding from their bell. And they migrate around, and there's apparently millions of them. They completely rely on the wind and ocean currents to move around. When the conditions are just right, with recent storms, they get pushed ashore. Other world weather news: Spain is sweltering in temperatures typical of summer right now. The Mississippi River is flooding. It's prompting evacuations and sandbagging. Yes, Frankie?
Not only Spain, but Gibraltar. Just so to Spain, that's a British territory. They're getting a really hot weather too in Gibraltar, in British territory, south of Spain.
The Mississippi River is flooding. That's prompting evacuations and sandbagging and things like that.
That's not good. That means cost a lot of flooding. They can damage properties. They can damage crops and things like this in farms.
There was severe storms in Florida that brought wind, a river of ice, some people said.
Hailstones.
Yes. Flood threat prompts rare closure of Yosemite Valley in California. So Yosemite Valley is closed from flood threat. There was a severe solar storm dazzling auroras that people could see all the way to Oklahoma. Hank Vliestra seen it. It was raining all night here in Wells, like it often does. Didn't see a thing.
Not only Oklahoma, there's pictures of very clear aurora borealis in the distance from Arizona on Sunday. That was crazy.
That is great rare. California communities are bracing for flooding, which is funny after years of water levels being so low there that we've been quite worried about. You know what I'm saying? But most of the drought conditions in the States now have moved to sort of the low central plains, right? Texas, Oklahoma, and things like that.
Frankie's got something.
And it's really, really bad in California because California had so much rain in winter, a lot of snow up in the mountains of California too.
On April 13th, a rare fireball flew over Maine. There's a $25,000 reward. Maine Mineral and Gem Museum is looking for meteorites from a rare fireball event that happened near the Maine-Canadian border. They will pay anyone who can find pieces of this.
My uncle was involved with a group of guys that were going around and looking at satellite maps and finding places that look like craters and going out with Geiger counters and finding out whether or not there was meteorites buried under the ground. And I guess there's millions of dollars worth of research that goes into meteorology. I mean, meteorite finds. If you can find a meteorite that's sunk in your field, you can make millions on it.
There's a woman named Kathleen Karate. She's the newly appointed New York City rat czar. She holds a position aiming to address the swelling rat population of New York. She's a former elementary school teacher, so she's got lots of experience with little rats, and not a rodentologist, so she's perfect for the job. But she says her unique experiences help her qualify her for official role. She gets $155,000 a year for essentially not knowing much about rats. While working for the Department of Education's Office of Sustainability, she developed the Zero Waste Schools program. So that's a pretty awesome program. So maybe she could think about something besides, maybe she does know about rats. I don't know. What's the big deal? They're nasty. That's what the big deal is. Can you imagine? I love living in a place that has no rats. Wells, we got no rats. We got no fleas. We got no ticks. You wonder why I like living where it's snowy a lot? They're going to spend $3.5 million on the Harlem Rat Mitigation Zone. So look out, you dirty rats.
Apparently they haven't read Homer Price yet.
Hey, you know how we were talking about more likely to get injured driving to the woods than while you're doing your adventures in the woods? There's a similar one that came up recently where Storm Chaser was making the same point about storm chasing. I tend to agree with him. It maybe depends on your storm chasing style, but he says the most dangerous part of a storm chase is all the driving, and I would agree. And what happened to him one time is on the way between two different storms at night, they're driving down this highway, and it's middle of nowhere. They haven't even seen a vehicle come in the opposite direction. And they're flying along too fast. And they're not unfamiliar with the road network in that area. And it had the weirdest intersection. And neither him nor the driver noticed there was a stop sign in the middle of a straightaway. And they flew through this stop sign, and there was a vehicle going the other direction that was going around a curve. It was coming towards them, but the road had a strange intersection where the road that's coming towards them, you could either curve to the one way or go straight. And they had a stop sign. They're supposed to stop and wait and see if the people are going around the curve or not. They crashed right into this vehicle going the opposite direction, luckily not head on, kind of hit the rear end of the vehicle as it was passing them. And, you know, stuff like that.
Well, people get this sense of importance and sense of entitlement too. And I see that with firefighting crews heading to fires. You know, we're important, we're going, we got to get there. And no, you're not. Slow down.
We haven't had that trouble with people going for the ferry in this area.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah. And then, of course, in any town where the general store closes at 6 p.m., everyone's rushing to get to the Jack in time. A new study has shown that global warming is great for baseball. Can anyone guess why this is?
It's global climate change, not global warming. Global climate change, other areas to get a lot of snow that never had before.
Well, why would climate change be good for baseball?
Because they can get warmer temperatures and things like this.
Yes, the air being made thinner by warmer conditions. So says a study by the American Meteorological Society. Since from 2010 to 2019, they account for a 1% increase in home runs due to warmer weather conditions. That small share is expected to grow to 10% by the year 2100. So look out, home run records. Just got to wait a few years. And they're moving the fences in on the corners in all the parks, you know, like in Toronto. So they're just that much easier to hit if you pull the ball down the line. And climate change is good for baseball.
In the year 2031, the International Space Station is going to crash in the Earth. They have to take time to evacuate the
the entire space station. Cargo comes first and people after that.
Baseball commentator and Tim McCarver said on live television in April 2012, I think ultimately it'll be proven that the air is thinner now. That there have been climatic changes over the last 50 years in the world. I think that's one of the reasons balls are carrying much better now than I remember. The ball that Ramirez hit out, the ball that Freese hit out, I don't think either one was going to be a home run, but they made it. That observation did not play well with viewers. He got savaged for it. He was mocked. This can't possibly be climate change. So says science. They looked at home runs from 114,417 Major League Baseball games over 60 years combined with temperature data, weather data. They look specifically at days that were unseasonably warm and cold for the time of year. Instead of saying, is it warm or cold, we say, is it unseasonably warm for that location at that time? This is a question that it's independent of other potentially confounding factors. What's the bat made of and things like this?
What about humidity?
Humidity might knock it down some, but if you're in Colorado, we all know the ball flies out of there places where it's not humid. So we're pretty much to the end of the show already this week. And that's great. We have the Comedeorological Report. We've had a whole bunch of people on. We've had Richard Daniel Tronson from, just check in one more time and say a few things about your show before you go, Richard.
Yeah. Richard from Kamloops. I am part of CFBX. I have a show called The Saxophone Smells on Monday nights from 8 to 9 p.m. just before the Comedeorological Report from, Wells there. I like to talk about music. I like to play music. I like to go to as many concerts as possible and talk about them on my show.
Yeah, man. Well, anytime you want to pop in with us, feel free to be part of the family. So it's the Comedeorological Report. I'm Joey Olney, and Frankie McDonald's the main man. Frankie, how does everyone find you out there in the whole wide world of the internet?
If you want to find me, my Twitter is @FrankieMacD. My Facebook is Frankie McDonald. My Instagram is FrankieMacD984. My TikTok is FrankDell984. My Clapper is FrankDell984. My Twitch is FrankieDell984. My Snapchat is Frankie MACDON. And my LinkedIn's Frankie McDonald. And my YouTube channel is Dogs Wolves. Best luck to you. I'm Frankie Donald. You're listening to Joey Only Show every Thursday night. Caribou Weather, do comedian plus meteorology. All you guys who see me on Base Guys Show at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 4 p.m. Atlantic Standard Time, and 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on Friday, April 28, 2023. All you guys will see me on Base Guy Show.
I'm Joey Only here. You can find this show and all the rest of the episodes, all 106 episodes now of the show right here on Caribou Weather Dude, Joey Only Caribou Weather Dude YouTube, plus my weather forecast and things like that. Hilding Donaldson out there in Grassy Plains. Hank Fleister returning once again from Wilkie, Saskatchewan. Richard Daniel Tronson down in Kamloops. Imogen Cookie Bailey in Victoria. That's our show for this week, everybody. No Brandon Houck this week. It was kind of weird, eh?
Yeah. But you say you have a report from him to throw onto the completed show, huh?
Yeah, but you guys miss him though, right?
Oh yeah, I love having him on there.
I'd say this, but I talk to him all the time.
One out of 6 gets an oh yeah. Frankie, you miss Brandon, right?
I miss Brandon. Brandon will return next week if it's a game possible.
Frankie, I hope you had a good 39th birthday this week. What did you get?
I had a great 39th birthday. I had ice cream cake. Last Saturday, I had Chinese food for my birthday.
Yeah, excellent. Did you have chicken balls?
Chicken balls, rice, egg roll, sugai. I am 39 years old right now.
Excellent. And I'm Joey Only. We'll see you next week, everybody. Thanks for coming on by.
Okay, guys. I'm going to do a video about the guy eating 50 hot dogs at once. I want you to eat 50 hot dogs at once! My stomach is upset.
more.